Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. All right. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, children of every age. We're starting early today. I did go to the gym today, but didn't stay there too long. Just wasn't feeling it. Dude, my alarm's been screwed up. I've been late to work every day this week. Almost every day. Like it doesn't go off. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I need to change to a different alarm sound. But I had multiple alarms set yesterday. And nothing woke me up. I don't know if I had the sound turned off. Sound is on. Bluetooth is off. Let's try something. 10 a.m. So this should go off. I need to change the sound. That's annoying. It can't be too relaxing. See, that's too relaxing. I'll start bopping my head and go back to sleep. That'll wake me up. Space bell? Space bell. Okay, save. This should go off at 10 a.m. We're going to test it. Been having alarm issues too. It's user error on my part, setting AM for PM and vice versa. Yeah, I don't know what I've been doing. I don't know if I'm snoozing it out and I've just been really tired, or it gets louder and long. Yeah. But I also don't want to be woken up abruptly, you know? That just sets you up for a bad day. You get woke up abruptly. That's what I used to say the definition of woke is when you are abruptly woke from your sleep. But awake means that you've had your coffee, you got your day going, you're awake. But woke, nobody likes to be woke. Woke is when you're sleeping comfortably and somebody says, "Hey!" And you're like, "Oh shit, I'm woke. You just woke me up. Why'd you woke me up?" I don't know. All right, we got judges today. Samson, the story of Samson. Yeah, nobody wants to be woke. I gotta be done here. I need to be walking out of my apartment at noon because I have a haircut appointment at 12:15. So I need to be walking out of here by noon. So that's the plan, which is fine. We got more than 2 hours. Is Echo eating out there? All right. So just go ahead and get into this. Samson's feast and riddle. We got the story of Samson. I did a whole breakdown of this whole story a while ago. So now we're just going to read through it. Starting, real men cut their own hair? Nah, I did cut it once. I don't like cutting it myself. I get it cut by a brown skinned guy. They cut hair good. That's what I heard. All right. Chapter 14. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Get her for me to wife, mom and dad. Dude, you're going to see by the end of this, Samson's super strong, but he's also kind of a beta. Get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. So they said, Samson, why are you always picking these heathen women? Can't you marry somebody from your own family, like every good Israelite does? Why are you always dilly-dallying with these dang Pharisee women, with these dang Philistine women, Samson? And Samson said, Dad, I want her. She pleaseth me well. She pleaseth him well. Old men goes to professionals. Real men cut their own hair. Old men goes to professionals. Does that mean I'm an old man? She pleaseth me well, father. But his father and his mother knew not that it was the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So really the only reason that Samson is craving this Philistine lady is not because he wants the Philistine lady. It's the Lord acting through Samson because he needs a reason to wipe out these Philistines. So what's he going to do? He's going to give Samson a Philistine woman, and Samson's going to end up pouring his heart out to her, being a beta, and it's going to lead to the downfall of the Philistines in the long run. Spoiler alert. There's a lot of spoilers, a lot of foreshadowing in the Bible. For it was not, but his mother and father knew not that it was of the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him. Samson about to fight a lion. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. And he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. Rent, when they talk about renting your clothes, they're saying, Samson rent a lion. He tore a lion. He tore the lion. So the image they show, he's always holding it by its jaws, and he just tears a lion in half. Okay? This is the type of strength that we're talking about here. Strength to tear a lion in half. Okay? Okay. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men do. And it came to pass when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it to me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change for 30 change of garments. But if you cannot declare it to me, then ye shall give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle that we may hear it. This is how you know Samson's like low IQ. He doesn't know how riddles work. Okay? He's about to give them a riddle that there's no possible way that they could answer unless they knew the story of him killing the lion and finding the honey in the lion. They don't know that story. So there's no reason they would come up to the answer to this riddle. So it's not even really a riddle. It's like trivia about what I did yesterday. It'd be like if I said, what's something I did yesterday that you guys don't know? What I have for lunch. Okay. Well, if I said to you, I have a riddle for you. What has cheese and also beef jerky that hath a man's craving stopped? You're like, what? And I say, the answer is what I ate for lunch yesterday. Slim Jim and cheese. Like, that's not a riddle, Samson. What are you talking about? Okay, here's the riddle. And he said unto them, out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, entice thy husband that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee in thy father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so? So basically they're saying, hey, Samson's wife, listen, this is a setup. Samson made a bet with us that we can't possibly win. It's not fair. So basically you're just robbing us. So you better figure out the riddle from Samson, or else we're going to burn your house down. That's what he said, basically. What they said. And Samson's wife wept before him and said, thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother. And shall I tell it to thee? I haven't even told my mom and my dad. You think I'm going to tell you? Let's see. And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. So there's one strike, Samson. Okay, this alarm works. This alarm works. I'm going to set it for 7:45. I got one at 7:30, one at 7:45, one at 8 o'clock. Sound is on. We just tested it and it worked. PM. Snooze, 10 minutes forever. Save. It's 3 different dang alarms. Better work. All right. So one strike. And I don't even know if this is Delilah yet. Doesn't he find another woman and that's Delilah, or is this Delilah? Samson and Delilah. No, he hasn't met Delilah yet. But this is a different lady, and he's going to do the same thing with this lady that he does with Delilah. So Samson's super low IQ. He doesn't know how to tell a riddle properly. He's tricking people. And he's whiny. And this woman just deceived him. Okay, she wept. If she's crying, she's lying. LFG Samson. He's strong. I'll give him that, but, let's go Samson. Not the most clever guy out there. But remember, this is the Lord working through Samson. Samson's not freely willing any of this. Samson, the only reason Samson even falls in love with this girl is because God made him to use her. He knew that he would fall for her. He knew that he would tell this woman the answer to the riddle. He was about to rob these fools. He was about to get all their stuff. Give them an impossible to answer riddle that nobody could answer, because unless you hung out with Samson the day before, there's no way you can answer this riddle. So he was basically just robbing them. And then this girl didn't want to get a house burnt down. So she figured out the answer to the riddle, and she runs and tells the people. And the men of the city said unto him, "What up, Seesaw?" Oh yeah, we're getting into the biblical beta, Samson. And the men of the city said unto him, "But it's not Samson's fault. It's not Samson's fault. It's not his will that he act like a beta all the time. God's just using him to get to the Philistines. He's wroth with the Philistines." Hola, Yoda. When are you gonna play some chess, Yoda? And the men of the city said unto him on the seventh day, before the sun went down, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" And he said unto them, "If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle." So Samson even knows. He said, if you weren't hanging out with me yesterday, you're not going to figure out the riddle. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He gave his wife to his friend. He's like, "I don't want this woman no more. She deceived me." So wait. So they answered the riddle. He slew 30 of them, took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the riddle. So he didn't kill all. He killed the ones that answered the riddle. He's like, "Here's some garments like I promised you, but I just killed 30 of your men." So yeah, I lost the bet. You figured out my riddle because of that woman. And so Samson always wins in the end. I want the smoke. Chapter 15. So now his first love is gone. And it's going to be no different with his next love, Delilah. Samson burns the cornfields. This is a cool story. But it came to pass within a while, after the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, "I will go into my wife unto the chamber." But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said, "I verily thought that thou hast utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her." So there was the father that gave the girl to the friend, because Samson disappears. Lord knows what Samson's doing. Walking around in the wilderness, lifting weights or something. And Samson comes back and says, "Where's my wife?" And he's like, "I gave it to your friend. I gave her to your friend." I thought you hated her. Don't you want her younger sister? Her younger sister's much fairer. Samson don't want the younger sister. And Samson said concerning them, "Now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure." It's so Samson's like, I'm about to cause some big problems for these Philistines. I'm no better than them, but I'm about to do something pretty bad to the Philistines. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between the two tails. So he catches 300 foxes. First off, how long does that take, Samson, does he commune with nature? What's he just going through the wilderness, sneaking up and catching all these foxes? Where is he putting all these foxes? I guess God brings the foxes to him. So he gets 300 foxes. He ties their tails together. So you have 150 pairs of angry foxes. You ever seen the thing where they take two power drills and they put them both into the same, like on the same bit, and then they tape the power buttons on and they pop the batteries in and they both go until they break? Well, that's what we got with 150 foxes here. You have 150 foxes' tails tied together, and they're just quarreling with each other. And in the middle of their tails He sticks a torch and he lights it on fire. So now you got 150 angry fire foxes. 150 angry pairs of fire foxes. This is a problem. And what's he do with these foxes? And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives. He burnt up all their crops. I've noticed lust and simpery go hand in hand. This is true. Then the Philistines said, "Who hath done this?" And they answered, "Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire." Dang. So that's not a happy ending for anybody. Except Samson. Samson's chilling. Samson's like, "I'm single looking back on the brown. Thought you was burned back, but I don't know how." Samson wasn't scared of PETA. Samson did not care about animal rights. And Samson said unto them, "Though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease." And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter. And he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etham. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, "Why are ye come up against us?" And they answered, "To bind Samson are we come up, to do to him as he hath done to us." They're plotting on Samson. It's because Samson just lit all their crops on fire. Then they burned his ex and her dad. And then he's like, "I'm just going to kill a bunch of you. I'm just going to wipe a bunch of you guys out." Samson murks them. They threw my man Samson under the bus. He's going to throw himself under the bus. Samson is not the sharpest crayon in the box, okay? Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock Etam and said to Samson, "Knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us?" And he said unto them, "As they did unto me, so have I done unto them." What did they do to you, Samson? You're the one who was trying to trick them with an impossible to solve riddle. And then you told the chick the answer to the riddle because she was crying for a week. And then she told them because that's her family. Then you killed a bunch of her family. Then you leave and you come back and you get mad because she's not married. She's with your buddy now. She's with your friend. So you get pissed off. You kill a bunch more of them. Then they burn her. Then you kill a bunch more of them. Like, who's the bad guy here? It's the Philistines. The Philistines is the answer. But Samson's not the good guy. God is the good guy. Samson's just doing what God's making him do. Because remember, the Lord is working through Samson. Joel and Samson would have went skating trying to rizz up some ladies. I don't know who that is, but... Samson was a mess. Samson was a mess. Okay. And they said unto him, "We are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines." And Samson said unto them, "Swear unto me that ye will not fall or fail. Fall upon me yourselves. Swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves." And they spake unto him, saying, "No, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we will not kill thee." And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. So this is the men of Judah tying up Samson to take him to the Philistines. And he said, "Just promise me you guys aren't going to attack me," because he doesn't want to kill them. He doesn't want to have to kill the men of Judah. That's why he says, "Promise me that you guys aren't the ones that are going to attack me, because I don't want to have to murk all you fools right now." They said, "No, we're just going to tie you up and take you to them." Samson said, "All right, tie me up. Watch what happened. Watch what happened." And they spake to him, saying, "No, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we will not kill thee." And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. And the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. He killed 1,000 Philistines with a donkey's jawbone. That's gangster. That's gangster. That's what happens when the Lord is with you. Nobody stands against you. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place Ramath Lehi. And he was sore at thirst, and called on the Lord, and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? But God clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived. Wherefore he called the name thereof Inhakore, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. And Samson is our 12th judge. Samson is our 12th judge. Where's my pen? Lehi is a place in Utah. Fun fact. He judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Now Samson goes to Gaza. How would Samson do in a UFC fight? He would win. He would win unless the ring girl, figured out his weakness, and she told it to his opponent. if he's sleeping with the ring girl, and right before the fight, she's like, "Hey, Samson, what's that thing you were telling me makes you lose a fight instantly?" He'd be like, "Oh, if they tickle behind my knee." And she'd walk over to the other fight and be like, "Just tickle him behind his knee. Get him down and just tickle him behind his knee," and he's done. And he would get murked. He'd submit to a tickle. That's our boy Samson. All right. Chapter 16. Samson's going to Gaza. This is where Samson meets Delilah. His last wife didn't work out too good for her. She got burnt at the stake, and all of her family got slaughtered. This guy Samson's bad luck. Okay. Chapter 16. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. He went in unto her. You know what that means? It means they got it on. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. He went in unto her. Homer Samson. Anson Simpson. Simpson, Anson. Anson, Samson. Simpson, Samson. Simpson. It all makes sense. It all makes sense now. Except Anson's not even strong like Samson. At least Samson could bench 450. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him, and laid in wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, In the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and went away with them, bar and all. And he put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the hill that is before Hedron. So Samson wasn't sleeping. He was in there quietly. And he comes out, and he rips the doors of the gates of the city down, and carries them on his back up a hill. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. So wait, they're like waiting till morning to kill Samson. So in the middle of the night, he gets up and he just rips the gates off their city and carries them up a hill. Next story, he meets Delilah. He loved a woman in the valley of Sorek whose name was Delilah. Dun, dun, dun. And the lords, it's different donkey. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of his 1,100 pieces of silver. Oh, every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. So we're each going to give you 1,100 pieces of silver. All you got to do is figure out his weakness. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, where is thy great strength lieth? And wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee? Samson, this should be a dead giveaway, okay? We've been through this before. We've been through this. Graduated. I don't know what that means, but he's been through this before. Delilah says, hey, Samson, what's your weakness? Where does your strength lie? How are you so strong? What's your weakness? And also, if I were to tie you up in a way that you couldn't possibly escape, how would I do that, Samson? But Samson's a sharp cookie. Remember, he's a sharp cookie. He's learned his lesson. He's gonna lie to her. So he's smart, right? He's smart. He's testing her to see if she's lying to him. Let's see how smart Samson is. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wake, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. So Samson's a smart cookie. He tested her. She failed the test. But now she gets angry and starts crying. She starts, but Samson, why are you always so mean? I just want to know. You lied to me, Samson. Tell me the truth. How can we tie you up so that you can't escape, Samson? And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. So again, he tests her. He says, well, let's lie to her again. And she proves she can't be trusted. She's trying to set you up, Samson. She proved it twice. Stop being a simp. Okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, my name is Samson. What is this? And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weave the 7 locks of my head with the web. Samson had dreadlocks. Remember that. Samson had dreadlocks. Big old lumpy dreadlocks. Big old thick boys. And the way that we know this is because he didn't cut his hair. He was a Nazarite. He didn't cut his hair. He lived in a dry, arid climate. He did not have Pantene Pro V and shampoos with residues in them. Probably didn't even have soap. Maybe use some pig lard. You wash your hair with pig lard once a month. And only rich and famous people had combs. Kings and stuff. Tortoiseshell. They had like the oldest tortoiseshell combs they found. Only the rich people would have them. Samson didn't have no comb. So if you live in a dry, arid climate like the desert, and you ain't got showers regularly, and you ain't got Pantene Pro V, and you ain't got a tortoiseshell comb. You got dreadlocks. Samson had dreadlocks. He had 7 locks of hair. And he tells Delilah, cut my hair off and use it to tie me up. And then I'll lose my strength. And she fastened it with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like other men. So I guess, okay, so wait, so 4 times now. The 3rd time, he tells her, use my hair to tie up my hands. But that doesn't work. You got to cut the hair off. And now he tells her, shave my head, and I'll be weak like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees. Aw, she's petting his head. Go to sleep, Samson. Mommy's got you. Mommy will take care of you, Samson. Everything's going to be fine, baby Samson. He's a mama's boy. He's a beta. This is my Samson noise. Where'd it go? Beta! There we go. That's for Samson. So he's sleeping on her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out, as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit, the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Samson getting that strength back, boys. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice. But remember, all those 4 mistakes Samson made, he couldn't help that. He had no choice. God was using him because God was vexed with the Philistines. So he was just being used as a tool for God to say, okay, now we're going to wipe out the Philistines. Samson, do what you were meant to do. This is what I designed you for. This is what I created you for. This is your moment. Do it, Samson. And Samson had no choice but to listen. If you're reading the Bible to an audience, it should be spoken with authority. Okay, well, I'm the authority. Right now, I'm the authority. And I'm reading the Bible to an audience. There you go. And also, I don't know who made up that rule. You just made up that rule. You're not that guy. Well, you can leave. You're welcome to leave. You don't have to be here. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice, for they said, our God hath delivered Samson our enemy into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars. They're mocking Samson. They're making a joke out of Samson. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. So he asked for a little bit of slack in his ropes. He needs a little bit of movement room. to get them pillars shaken. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes, because he's blind. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was bore up, of the one with his right hand and of the other with his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself in all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein. So the death which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. So thousands of people, because he killed, what did he kill? He killed 1,000 men with the jawbone. So there's more, uh, there's more than 1,000, probably like 2,000 people at this party. You got to think it's like these ancient structures where there's people on the roof. Maybe it's like a 3-story building, and there's people on the roof and people on the roof above that, and it's all marble, and there's people in the atrium underneath, and he breaks these 2 pillars and the whole thing comes tumbling down. Self-deletion was a sin. But Samson's not self-deleting. God is deleting Samson. It says in the beginning of this, the Lord comes into Samson, and when the parents, we just read it. I don't know if you were here, Anson, but when he finds the woman and he's attracted to the woman, and his parents are like, well, she's a Philistine. Why are you always chasing these Philistines? It says that the parents didn't realize it, but it was the Lord that was making Samson go after this woman. So God is doing this. God is in control here. Everything that Samson does, the Lord is working through Samson to make these things happen. The self-doubt is apparent. Who's self-doubt? And also sacrifice. I don't know if sacrifice would count as self-deletion. But no. You thought self-deletion was a sin. I don't know. The Catholics say that. I don't say that. Well, it would depend why you. So your God self-deletes the people he embodies. Yeah, seems like a bad deal. Yeah, it probably does to, smooth-brained people. They probably think it sounds really mean. Stop thinking like a woman. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah, his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. We can get a good chunk done today. I still got an hour and a half. Yours, sir? Okay. Well, I'm glad that you can read things like that into people on the internet. You guys are very feminine today. What's up with the acting like little girls in the chat? So you're for medically assisted self-deletion in the most extreme of cases? I'm in God-assisted self-deletion. So like if God was using somebody, if God's purpose was we need to make medically assisted self-deletion illegal, then the people who die of medically assisted self-deletion to convince other people not to do this would have been part of God's plan. Well, it's all part of God's plan. If it's not a sin, what's the moral problem? I don't think people understand what sin means. You should go watch my breakdown of what sin means. Sin is playing God. I'm not triggered. You're just annoying. You're just being annoying today. What do you want? You snotting? You snotting on my carpet? All right. Where are we on? Chapter 17? Did we read 17? Yeah, we're on 17. Hold on, I want to see something. I forgot what I was going to look up. I had something to look up, but I forgot it. All right. Chapter 17. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah. Micah's idolatry. We're going to come, I think it goes back to Samson, though. Micah. We've done a thing about Micah, I think. Did we? I can't remember. I can't turn this page. Okay, there we go. The Levite and his concubines. I'm trying to remember what the next story is. Because I have stuff highlighted here, so it means I've talked on it before. Chapter 17. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah, and he said unto his mother, the 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou curseth, and speaketh of also in my ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it, and his mother said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my son. What 1,100 shekels of silver? What are we talking about here? And when he had restored the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son, to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it to thee, unto thee. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Micah. It's sadistic keeping them alive. Who? The Philistines? And the man Micah had, where was I? Yeah, king. Sin is just disobeying God. So if God commands you to, if the Lord is working through you and makes you take yourself out to kill 3,000 Philistines, then no, that's not a sin. And the man Micah had an house of gods, and made an ephod and a teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priest. Micah and the Levites. We did talk about this on the Monday night show a while ago. He walks around. This is the story of. Why did I talk about this? Oh, I remember when we talked about this. So this is the darkest, what I called the darkest chapter in the Bible. This is a lot of people will talk about the Amalekites, and they'll talk about stories like that. A lot of people consider this like the darkest, most messed up story in the Bible. What we're about to read about. Just a little foreshadowing there about our boy Micah. In those days, there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And that's important. It says that at the end of every chapter here. It's going to repeat that. And then the very last chapter of the story, it repeats it again. The very last chapter in Judges, it repeats that again. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. There was no king. Everybody did what was right in their own eyes. Are you a teacher? No. That's why the thumbnail says, not a preacher, not a teacher. Let no man teach you. In those days, there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he journeyed. And Micah said unto him, whence comest thou? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place. And Micah said unto him, Dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah, Now know that the Lord will do me good, seeing that I have a Levite to my priest. So remember, the Levites are the priestly lineage of the 12 tribes. They have no inheritance. God is their inheritance. They serve the temple. That's their lot in life. And Micah sees this Levite walking around, and he's like, I want my very own priest. I want a priest to live with me. I don't want to have to go to the tabernacle to get blessed and stuff. I want my own priest. So Micah pays this Levite to become his priest. And this leads to some not so good situations. What's up, Chris and Shiva? Chapter 18. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in, for unto that day all their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel. In those days there was no king in Israel. It repeats that a bunch here. And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coasts, men of valor, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said unto them, Go search the land, who when they come to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, they lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man, the Levite, and they turned in thither and said unto him, Who brought thee hither? And what makest thou in this place? And what hast thou here? And he said unto them, Thus and thus deal it. It's so dark outside, I can't barely see unless I hold it like this. And he said unto them, Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me, and hath hired me, and I am his priest. And they said unto him, Ask counsel, we pray thee, of God, that we may know whether our way which we go shall be prosperous. And the priest said unto them, Go in peace, before the Lord is your way wherein ye go. Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and saw the people that were therein, how they dwelt careless after the manner of the Zidonians, quiet and secure. And there was no magistrate in the land that might put them to shame in anything. And they were far from the Zidonians, and had no business with any man. And they came unto their brethren to Zorah and Eshtaol, and their brethren said unto them, What say ye? And they said, Arise, that we may go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are ye still? Be not slothful to go, and to enter to possess the land. When ye go, ye shall come unto a people secure, and to a large land, for God hath given it into your hands, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth. They always say that, and then before long they want something. Oh, he's always being a weirdo in the chat. I'll time him out if he keeps it up. And they went up and pushed, where was I? Oh, and there went from thence of the family of the Danites, out of Zorah and out of Eshtaol, 600 men, appointed with weapons of war. And they went up and pitched in Kirjath Jearim, Kirjath Jearim. A lot of cooming in the Bible. Kinda. I guess. They don't use that word, but similar. Yeah. Kirjath Jearim in Judah, wherefore they called that place Mahanedan. Unto this day, behold, it is behind Kirjath Jearim. I have an hour still. And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim, and came unto the house of Micah. Then answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren, Do ye know that there is in these houses an ephod and a teraphim and a graven image and a molten image? Now therefore consider what ye have to do. We got to wipe them out. That's Micah's house. And they turned thitherward and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him. And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan, stood by the entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up and came in thither, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went into Micah's house, and fetched the carved image, the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye? And they said unto him, Hold thy peace, lay thine hand upon thy mouth, and go with us. And be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one man, or that thou be a priest unto a tribe and a family in Israel? And the priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the cattle in the carriage before them. And when they were a good way from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near to Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, What aileth thee, that thou comest with such a company? And he said, Ye have taken away my gods which I made, and the priest, and ye are gone away. And what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me? What aileth thee? So these soldiers found out that Micah's got his own priest. He's got his own ephods and teraphims and gods and molten images that he worships in his house with his own priest. And these soldiers are like, that's kind of cool. I want that. So they take the priest, and the priest is like, you going to kill me? And they said, no, we're not going to kill you. We want you to be our priest. Go get all those stuff out of his house and come be our priest. Then Micah shows up, and Micah's pissed. Micah's like, you took my gods. You took my priest. What the? The crazy part's in the next chapter. We're almost there. Yeah, I have to remember the. Yeah, I have to remember how you explain this story, because this story gets a little wild here in the next chapter. Verse 25, chapter 18. And the children of Dan said unto him, Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life, with the lives of thy household. And the children of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back unto his house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priests which he had, and came unto Laish, unto a people that were at quiet and secure. And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and burnt the city with fire. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Zidon. And they had no business with any man, and it was in the valley that lieth by Beth Rehob. And they built a city and dwelt therein. And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at the first. And the children of Dan set up the graven image, and Jonathan the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made, all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh. Okay. Wickedness of the men of Gibeah. The wickedness of the men of Gibeah. Okay, chapter 19. Right around verse 20, it's a dark story coming up. Sola Scriptura is reading the Bible. I don't think you know what that means, to be honest. And it came to pass, chapter 19, and it came to pass in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning in the side of Mount Ephraim who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem of Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him unto her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodged there. I almost said lounged. Same thing, I guess. I should learn Latin. Good luck. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go on your way. Nope, I don't. I mean, I think you probably know that it means scripture alone, but I don't think you really know what it means. You probably actually think it means scripture alone, which isn't what it means. But anyway, and it came to pass on the 4th day, you're messing me up. When they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart, and the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go on your way. And they sat down and did eat and drink, both of them together, for the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. So this guy's trying to leave, and the father-in-law keeps telling them to stay. He keeps saying, stay a few more days, stay a few more days. This guy's trying to leave. What does it mean? You should go watch my video on the 5 solas and the 2 honorable mentions. The 2 honorable solas. The 5 solas of the Protestant Reform and the 2 honorable solas that people have added also to it. Go watch that video and stop derailing. When the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him. Okay, so they keep telling him, stay around, stay around. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold now, the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may grow merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled. His concubine also was with him. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, Come, I pray thee, and let us turn into this city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, We will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah. So he's saying, let's lodge here. They're saying, no, let's keep going. And he said unto his servant, Come, and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went, he sat him down in the street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. So nobody's giving them a place to stay. More donkey stuff? There's going to be some donkey stuff. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And he went in. And when he went in, he sat him down on the street of the city. Oh, I already read that. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, Whither goest thou? And whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of the Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. Nobody's giving me a place to stay. We're traveling through the city. We need a place to stay for the night. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street. So this guy is saying, I'll give you a place to stay. Anything you want. I got food. I got all that. Okay. Watch this. You can go in timeout. I don't want you here. If that's all the crap you got to say, I don't want you here. So you can stay in timeout till I'm done. Cool. All right. Go watch something else. I don't want you here. All right. Where was I? No, I can't remember where I was. I know we're getting to the crazy part coming up. Oh, yeah. Put all your wants upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Now we get to the wickedness of the men of Gibeon. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. And by we may know him, they mean they're going to grape him. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, may I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house. Do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing. So these guys, so you have multiple accounts? How do you have multiple accounts with the same name? Okay, cool. So I'll just ban you. So now I'll just ban you every time you come in. Cool. If you want to be a little snake, I'm not interpreting anything. I'm just reading. So if you're going to keep crying about it, go somewhere else. Yeah, but now he's coming in on alt accounts. So now I got to ban him. Sucks. Now I see why people don't like you. I got him, JS. Keep reading. Yeah, I never had a problem with him, but now I see why people do. All right. Okay. So this is the crazy part. This is why people really don't like this verse or this section, is because the guys say, bring that man out so that we can have our way with him. They want to do some sodomy with him. And the guy says, take my daughter and his concubine instead, and do whatever you want with them, but don't do it to him. Don't do that to him. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her lord was till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down on the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. So they literally raped her and beat her all night long and left her within an inch of her life, dropped her off in the front yard. All night she's crawling through the front yard to get to the front door, gets to the porch, and dies with her hands on the door. And the next morning he opens the door and there she is dead. I mean, he probably expected as much. He gave them to the men. And her Lord rose up in the morning. I already read that. Her hands were on the threshold, and he said unto her, Up and let us be going. But no one answered. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon the ass, and the man rose out and gat him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. And it was so that all that saw it said, There was no such a deed done nor seen from that day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. That's a crazy ending to that. See, we did a whole breakdown of this section a long time ago. Let me see what I called it. I think if you search JS, the darkest story in the Bible, or the darkest Bible story. It's not coming up. What if I just search on my channel? Let's see, JS Urban Adventures. King Solomon. No. Biblical translation. No. I don't know. It's one of my streams, and it's the thumbnail. It says the darkest Bible story. I think I told it at Halloween time. Because basically, they wanted to grape him. He threw his concubine out there instead. She got beat and graped all night, and then she died on the front porch. He picks her up, carries her home, chops her up into 12 pieces. Oh, he's one of these clowns with 800 accounts. Dude, get a life. You are not a man. Stop acting like that. Chops her up into 12 pieces and sends a piece of her to every tribe of Israel to remember. But there's something important about this last line. I can't remember. I wonder if it's in my files. Or when I probably did this before I started saving all my research and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be in here. The darkest Bible story. Yeah, I did this before I started saving all my stuff. I've been saving all my show notes for the past year. And I don't have that in there. I think I did that like 2.5 years ago. So it's an older show, but it's somewhere. It says the darkest Bible story. Let me read a little. Judges 19, 20 through 30. Gibeah's crime. What Judges chapter 19 means. Dude, I don't want to just read it. I have the Bible in front of me. What is the message of Judges 19? Devastating consequences of moral corruption and the lack of leadership. That's one thing I said is that they repeat constantly throughout this section. Because this all deals with the Levites, the Benjamites, and Midian. Or Micah. Sorry, Micah. And it repeats There was no king in Israel, and people did what was right in their own eyes. See, we only have 2 chapters left in Judges. We might as well finish it today. I got an hour left. Story of the Levite and his concubine, which details the horrific violence she experiences in Gibeah, serves as a stark reminder of the state of Israel's society when there was no king. It highlights the fact that God will not tolerate the abuse of women or the failure of society to uphold justice. I think they're kind of, AI is kind of throwing that part in there itself because, I mean, the woman was, her abuse was tolerated. They weren't punished. All that happened was guy chopped her up into pieces and mailed her around to make a reminder. But yes, it is a story about moral depravity. Devastating consequences. Oh, there is going to be consequences though coming up in the next 2 chapters. Oh, they going to suffer. So there will be some God's wrath poured out on them. The devastating consequences that followed the incident in Gibeah, including the tribal war and the destruction of the tribe of Benjamin. Oh yeah, and that's where they're like, we can't wipe out all of the tribe of Benjamin, so go sneak up and take some of the. Okay, yeah. I remember this now. Abuse of women, the rape and subsequent murder of the concubine are particularly disturbing, showcasing the vulnerability of women in a society that lacks moral values and strong leaders. Well, yeah, especially when the guy says, don't hurt me, take her instead. Yeah, that's kind of. So this is just to show the moral depravity that Israel has fallen into when it's not being ruled by a king. But the chopping her up into 12 pieces, like, whoa. Yay, consequences. Yes, there will be some consequences. Chapter 20. We're just going to finish Judges today. And then tomorrow, if we do one, we can do all of Ruth, because Ruth is only 4 chapters. I got to make a thumbnail for Ruth. Ruth, baby, Ruth. It's only like, I don't even know if it's 4 chapters. It might only be 3 chapters. All right. Chapter 20. We got to see the aftermath of this. There's going to be a war against the Benjamites because of this. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Mizpeh. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpeh. Then said the children of Israel, tell us, how was this wickedness? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me. And my concubine have they forced that she is dead. I mean, you kind of gave your concubine to the men, but they were looking for you. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any of us go to his tent, neither will we any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do in Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it. And we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of the 1,000, and 1,000 out of the 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, what wickedness is this that is done among you? So the tribe of Benjamin's in trouble right now, because all of Israel is saying, we got to do something about this. You can't just be running around raping women and killing them. Now, therefore, and it's not going to turn out good for the Benjaminites. They end up. Is this where's Seesaw? Is Seesaw still here? Is this where they're sneaking through the they have a party, and while all the girls are dancing in the crops, they're like going in and they're sneaking off with the girls so that they can uh, have the Benjamites not go extinct. They have to repopulate the Benjamites, so they kidnap a bunch of women from a party and bring them and give them to the Benjamites. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens here. Spoiler alert. Now therefore deliver us the men and the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah to go out to battle against the children of Israel. So the children of Benjamin are like, we're going to side with Gibeah. We're going to fight against Israel. Not a good idea. Vegemite sucks. I've never had Vegemite, but I heard it's salty. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people, there were 700 chosen men left-handed. Every one could sling stones at an hair breadth and not miss. And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. And the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. They're doing battle formations. I don't know. Like Marmite, but better? What is like Marmite? Like maple Vegemite? Marmite? And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against him. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept, and sat there before the Lord, and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand. So they've lost 2 battles with Benjamin. Israel's losing. Benjamin's severely outnumbered, but 28,000 to 400,000. And so far, the tribe of Benjamin has wiped out 50,000 Israelites in 2 days. So, but this time God says, I got you this time. Bovril, they came up with Bovrite. I have no idea what any of these things are. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the 3rd day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city. And they began to smite of the people, and kill, as at other times, in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, they are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, let us flee, and draw them from the city unto the highways. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore. But they knew not that evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 20 and 5,000 and 100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liers in wait, which they had set beside Gibeah. And the liers in wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah, and the liers in wait drew themselves along and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liers in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. And when the men of Israel retired in battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons, for they said, surely they are smitten down before us as in the first battle. But when the flame began to arise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them. And them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about, and chased them, and trode them down with ease, over against Gibeah toward the sun rising. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All these were men of valor. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness, unto the rock of Rimmon. And they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them unto Gidom, and slew 2,000 men of them. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 20 and 5,000 men that drew the sword. All these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men of every city, as the beast and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to. So it seems like the Benjamites are pretty well wiped out, right? No more Benjaminites. That's a whole tribe of Israel wiped out. But there's a problem here. That's still a tribe of Israel. Even though they screwed up, even though they were letting degeneracy happen in their cities, and then they went to war with all of us, they're still our brothers. We can't just let them go extinct. We got to do something here. So, we have chapter 21. There's a bit of a happy ending to this for the Benjamites. This is another crazy. The atheist types do not like this part right here. This part's pretty wild. Let's go. What happens to the leftover Benjamites that are hiding in the cave? Now the men of Israel had sworn in Mizpah, saying, there shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife. And the people came to the house of God and abode there till even before God, and lifted up their voices and wept sore, and said, O Lord, God of Israel, why has this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel? They're saying, God, what has happened here? There's supposed to be 12 tribes of Israel. Now there's only 11 tribes of Israel because we wiped out the Benjamites. But remember, there's some of them left. There's 600 of them left, I think. Okay? There should be one day, one tribe lacking in Israel. Hold on. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said, who is there among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation unto the Lord? For they had made a great oath concerning him that came up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying, he shall surely be put to death. And the children of Israel repented them for Benjamin their brother, and said, there is one tribe cut off from Israel this day. How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them our daughters to wives? So they're saying, look, there's some Benjamites left. We don't want to lose Benjamin completely. We still want to keep the tribe of Benjamin around. But there's 600 guys left. There's no women. And I can't give them my daughters because we swore a vow to the Lord that we're not going to give them any women to wife. So none of us can give them daughters to wife. They're going to die out. They need to make babies or they're going to die. And they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpeh to the Lord? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children. And this is the thing that ye shall do. Ye shall utterly destroy every man and every woman that hath lain by man. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male. And they brought them into the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent them some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, and to call peacefully unto them. Okay, so they said, we've all taken this oath not to give our daughters to the Benjamites. So they call this council, and they say, who's not here? Who didn't take this oath? Who didn't show up to take the oath? And they say, well, the people of Jabesh Gilead didn't show up. So technically they didn't take the vow. And they say, oh, they don't want to show up? Okay, fine. Here's what we're going to do. They go and they wipe out all of the men and married women in Jabesh Gilead. They capture the 400 virgins. They bring them, but now they can't give them to the Benjamites. So what do? Here's what they do. They say, go talk to the Benjamites and tell them we're going to have some ladies here. We're going to have a party. These ladies are going to be drinking. And once they go off into the cornfields, they wander off, you guys come and scoop them up. Take them, and you can have them so that you don't go extinct. Speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, and to call peacefully unto them. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead. And yet so they sufficed them not. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because that the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, there must be an inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin. Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly, in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebonah. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards. And see and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife to the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be, when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserved not to each man his wife in the war, for ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty. And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught. And they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwelt in them. And the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family, And they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. And the most important theme here, the theme of the whole story, the last verse, in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. That's crazy. So, yes, they didn't want the Benjamites to be wiped out. But they made a vow not to give any wives to the Benjamites. There's no women left. So inevitably, the Benjamites are just going to die out. So what do? They say when they have that feast in Shiloh and all those women come out and dance and get a little too drunk and merry and they're out dancing around in the vineyards. Benjamites, you need to be hiding in the vineyards and capture them. Capture them and take them as your wives. And then when their husbands come out and say, what happened to my daughter? Then we're going to say, well, the Benjamites got them. They're going to marry a Benjamite now. They're going to help keep the Benjamites alive. Listen, you don't have to be worried because you didn't actually give your daughter to them. They kidnapped your daughter. So it's okay. Dang. That whole tribal war between the Benjamites and the Levite priest of Micah, from Micah until the story of the Benjamites, that whole chunk is like one chunk of Judges. And the theme of that whole last like 4 or 5 chapters is in that day there was no king in Israel, and the men did what was right in their own eyes. Because there was no authority. There was no structure. There was no law. They didn't follow the law anymore. They didn't have Moses. They didn't have, Phineas. I guess Phineas ain't getting kind of old now. Phineas getting kind of old. Joshua's not around. There's no judges at the time. Things get crazy. There's no judges. There's no king. Things get degenerate real quick, and you end up wiping a whole tribe off the face of the earth almost. But then how do you fix it? Well, you do more moral degeneracy to fix the problem. You tell them to kidnap some girls from a party. You wipe out a city, you take all the virgins, you give them to them. But it's still not enough because there's 600 men, only 400 virgins. This ratio doesn't math. You need more women than you need men. 600 men to 400 women, you're not going to be able to repopulate with that. So there were still some men left over without wives. They told them, come over here and kidnap these girls. And that's what happened. And that's the story. Is it horrible? Yes. What's the point of the horrible stories? Is to show the moral depravity when there is no leader. The leader should be God, and they never didn't have God, but these people are weak. So they needed a king. They need a righteous king. And next they're going to get Ruth. By the way, we finished Judges. That's it for Judges. Ruth is 4 chapters. Yeah, Ruth is 4 chapters. It's only 3 pages, so that'll be quick. And then we're into Samuel. A lot of cool stories in Samuel and Kings. First Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings. That's when we learn all about Solomon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's in this chunk, I believe. David in the fiery furnace, I think. Saul. Stuff about Saul. David, the lion's den, David and Goliath. All of that stuff is in Samuel and Kings. David in the lion's den or Daniel in the lion? I always get Daniel and David confused. 1 and 2 Samuel. Yeah, there is some chunks in Samuel and Kings of like begats, where it'll be like a whole chapter of so and so begat so and so Abimelech and lineages. Hold on, I think somebody just Amazon might have just knocked on my door. Sounds like there's a dang earthquake going on. The whole building's rumbling. Rumble in the jungle. No Spurs or Degens when I stepped away. I know. I told people I'm not playing. I'm not trying to play when I'm doing this. It's morning time. I'm grumpy. I'm just trying to read the Bible and talk about it. I'm not trying to debate. Not trying to have somebody morally grandstand and say, you're not an authority. You shouldn't be teaching on this. Read the thumbnail. It says not a preacher, not a teacher. I don't claim to be a teacher. I don't claim to be a preacher. We're just reading. Samuel is where David gets confronted by Nathaniel for sending Uriah, the Hittite, to the front lines to get Bathsheba. Yeah. All of David is in Samuel and Kings. We get all of Saul, we get all of David, we get David and Goliath, David in the lion's den, Daniel in the lion's den, David in the lion's den. I forget one of those. We get Nebuchadnezzar stuff, I think, is in Kings. Yeah. Ruth. I haven't read Ruth in a minute. I don't even know what a Ruth does. What's Ruth do? Ruth claims Boaz. Oh, one of the 4 chapters of Ruth is just a begat story. It's going to give us the lineage from the Israelites till Daniel. Most of these I am familiar with via VeggieTales. Yeah. We're going to get a lot of the VeggieTale go-to stories in 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. A lot of the VeggieTale go-tos. That last chapter of Judges the last 4 or 5 chapters of Judges, VeggieTales isn't going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Men are trying to grape a guy, so he throws his concubine to them, and they grape and murder her. So he cuts her up into 12 pieces and mails her to all the tribes, which leads to a war where a bunch of guys get wiped out. But since they don't want the guys to go extinct, they wipe out another tribe, take all their virgins, give them to the tribe that they had just wiped out. But then there's still not enough women, so they tell the leftover guys from the tribe that they wiped out to go to another tribe and kidnap their daughters while they're drunk and dancing. That's the last 5 chapters of Judges in a nutshell. We're just reading the Bible, y'all. Nobody's claiming to be an expert or preaching. I ain't even religious. I'm just here for the stories. Yeah. People be taking it too seriously. I'm not wearing a robe or collars or anything like that. I'm not here to teach you. If you're learning, yeah, I don't need to explain myself. But I gotta get a haircut today. We gotta get a haircut. Get a haircut, get a mall cut. Get a mall cut. Let's see if Best Buy's got more of these 5070s in. Whoa, 5080s. Too expensive. 5070 Ti. The 5080 is not even that much better, and it's like $500 more. Best Buy does not have them. Ooh. Is Walmart restocked and there's a price cut? Dude, they're getting... Oh, this is a different one. That's why. They're getting cheaper and cheaper on Walmart every week. This one's... This one's cool. It doesn't have the... It doesn't have the lights in it. I like that RGB. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Best Buy. Yeah, it's the cheapest on Best Buy, but it is probably not in stock. Add to cart. Specifications. I don't know. They might have. It doesn't say. Special offer. Are they in stock right now? Let me see if I add to cart. You're in line. Oh, they do have inventory, but you got to go through a whole process to get their. That's which I appreciate that. That means they're putting things in place to keep bots from buying everything up. You actually have to like have an account, log in. They send you an email. You respond to the email just to be able to buy one of these. That's a good price. That's a good price on a 5070 Ti 16 gig. That's pretty good. Get an Edgar haircut. Get an Edgar haircut? What's that? What's that look like? Just gonna get the same haircut I got last time. But this time I'm not gonna tell him to take the fade up so high. So last time I told him take the fade up a little higher than you normally do. Because I wanted to take longer before I get a haircut. And because the sides get poofy. So I like the fade to be up high. But he's like, well, normally I do it just above the ear. You want me to go higher? And I said, yeah, go up to like here. And he did. And I kind of didn't like the way it looked. So I'm going to tell him, do the same thing you did last time, but don't do what I asked you to do. Do what you normally do. Because he's like, I normally just do it like this. You sure you want me to go higher? I said, yeah. And I should have just trusted. Trust the experts, right? Trust the experts. If you don't have a degree, then you don't know what you're talking about. Like Spock? Edgar Spock. Edgar Spock. High and tight. Toy like a toy guy. Toy like a toy guy. Oh, I want to buy this thing, but I need to wait. I need to wait until May 20th. May 20th. Less than a month. We're going to get the graphics card on May 20th. And then we can build the computer. Until then, in 2 weeks, I got to order Windows and my other monitor. I get Windows and the other monitor. And then on May 20th, we get the graphics card. And then it's time to build. Technically, I could just start building it now without the graphics card. We got everything we need, except Windows. I need Windows. I like the same haircut. At this point, I'm convinced they don't cut it short, so you have to come back sooner. Yeah. I don't know. I told him leave the bang. I tell him leave the bangs a little longer because I'm starting to go bald in the front. Have you seen those Mexicans with the Spock haircut? That's an Edgar. Oh, where it's like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, I don't want an Edgar. What the heck? It's so goofy. So goofy. Look at this. This is so goofy. Head looked like a penis. Nope. Won't be doing that. Yeah, like Lloyd off of Dumb and Dumber. Yes. That's the Edgar cut. Yeah, I won't be getting one of those. I'm trying to find. See, I need the little tags that pop up that reference you to the videos that I've done on some of these topics already. Content. Search across your channel. Darkest. I wonder if you search tags, does it work? These are videos. Pride Month Bible Thump. No. Bible Thump. I don't remember what I told it. Bible Judges. It's none of these. You know what? It might be on Rumble. It might have been while I was banned on YouTube. It might not be on here. Let's see. There's like 12 episodes that are missing on my YouTube. And it's very possible that I did that while that was happening. This is going to take me all day to go through all these. I'm not doing all that. TDC. 166. Next week is the this Monday is the 3-year anniversary of my show. Episode 156. That's 3 years, right? Nine biblical angels. Why does it start at TDC 14? Helen of Troy. Yeah, you know what? I think I did that one when I was on Rumble. Let me look. Rumble. Sign in. My content. Let's see. Episode 83. Episode 81 was Killdozer. Episode 82 was Jesus Illiterate. Spoiler alert. I believe so. 81 was Killdozer. 80 was the 5 solas or 7 solas. So that's what I was telling him he should go watch. But you'd have to go to my Rumble channel to see it because it was while I was banned on YouTube. But the video is called The 7 Solas. Spoiler alert, there's actually only 5 solas, but there's actually 7 solas. Because they just add solo ecclesia. 79. Conspiracy theory iceberg. 78. 77. 76. Scary stories. 75 was when the Israel stuff started. Jonah in the whale. 74 is Daniel in the lion's den. 73 is Jonah. 72 is fake aliens and bricks. 71 is 9/11 stuff. I think 71 was the first one that I did on this Rumble channel. Huh, I don't know. I can't find it, but it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go get my hair cut in 30 minutes. So, tomorrow, it's possible we'll do a short one and we'll just do the whole book of Ruth. Possibly. Maybe not. We'll see. If not, then I'll be on VK tomorrow night. Yeah. Not tonight, tomorrow night. Tomorrow morning, I might be back doing this. But if I'm not, tomorrow night, I will be on VK. And we'll do the panel and all that stuff. All right. And then Saturday is the debate. I need to finish, need to decide what I'm going to do and make thumbnails and all that stuff. I just steal her thumbnail. I don't know. I just stream. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stream share from hers and then end it and then rejoin her panel and stream it from StreamYard or stream it from how I normally do it. But what's up, bro? All right, I got to go, guys. Let me send you somewhere. Go say hi to Jim Bob. I don't know. Last time I sent you to Jim Bob, he ended, but I'll send you there anyway. All right. God bless, guys. Have a good one, and I will see you later. Peace.